Well, hello and welcome back to another edition of the Hiking Journal. This time I head south, way south, toward the Mexican border to a couple of lesser-known peaks with some interesting rock features called Lawson Peak and Corte Madera Peak. Located only about a half hour east of downtown San Diego and just a stone's throw from Tecate, Mexico, our first hike begins on the unmarked Carve-Acre Road, located at mile marker 13 on Lions Valley Road. For the first 2 miles, the trail rapidly gains elevation, while gorgeous views of the Pine Creek Wilderness begin to open up to the northeast and of Barrett Lake to the southeast. The last quarter mile requires some bouldering up the rugged northeastern face of the mountain. Though the trail is not well marked, there's ample paths up a rocky and steep fire road, and just below the summit on the western face is a 20-foot vertical crevice that leads to a cave. A rope has been secured, and even though there's not many places to grab onto for support, I had read that many hikers and climbers seem to be able to scramble up to the cave. Nevertheless, climbers should exercise extreme caution. The cave leads to a ledge with a tremendous view to the east, and a nearby path reaches the uppermost boulders of Lawson Peak. The dramatic windswept summit features a 360-degree view of the surrounding mountains in Lawson Valley. And on a clear day, views extend all the way down to the Pacific Ocean. Now boy, doesn't that sound like a lot of fun? On our second hike, Dave and I make a climb up to Corte Madera Peak, while the rain, sleet, and wind pound us on this hike. An adventure that turned out to be a lot tougher than we anticipated, and it was a lesson in perseverance for sure. That will be coming up in the following edition of the Hiking Journal. Lawson Peak is at an elevation of 3,664 feet, and is one of the 100 peaks listed for the county by the San Diego chapter of the Sierra Club. It's also listed as the 41st tallest peak in San Diego County, and climaxes with a climb up the granitic face of Pancake Rock. Lawson Peak is also named for John Lawson, a settler who had his very own post office near here from 1890 to 1891. I'll be damned. In this adventure, Dave, Jerry, and I had planned on heading down into eastern San Diego County and making a climb up Lawson Peak, before settling down at a campsite near Interstate 8 that was in perfect position for our next day's adventure, our hike up Corte Madera Peak. As the date of our adventure neared, we noticed there was a slight chance of rain arriving Saturday, and Dave didn't relish the thought of having to set up his tent and crawl in and out of it in the rain. Instead, he secured our reservation at Lake Morena, a San Diego County lake and campground popular with Pacific Crest Trail thru hikers in the early spring, and also the location of Trail Days, an annual event just before the thru hikers begin their northbound trek along the PCT toward Canada. Lake Morena also features 10 quaint cabins with sleeping accommodations for 4 people via a double wood-slatted framed bed and a set of bunk beds. All we'd need to bring is padding and our sleeping bags. The cabins also included interior lighting, several electrical outlets for charging cell phones or camera gear and other accessories, but the best part of it all was a small propane wood stove that we discovered worked surprisingly well and heated up our little cabin to a toasty 70 degrees, perfect for a great night's sleep after a tough day hike. As luck would have it, Jerry unfortunately had to cancel just a few days before we headed out, and it was only Dave and I who made the long trip south on Interstate 15 to San Diego and east toward the small town of Jamul. Dave arrived at my house in Temecula, and we packed up the Jeep and headed south on Interstate 15 toward San Diego. Traffic was light, and we made great time cruising through Escondido and Rancho Bernardo before heading east on Interstate 8, passing through the small town of Jamul before arriving at Lions Valley Road and our turn toward the unmarked trail for Lawson Peak. Well, hello and welcome back to another edition of the Journal. Today, we're out here in inland San Diego near the town of Jamul. Dave's with me, sitting over here in the passenger seat. We're going to be taking a 2-day adventure. We're going to hit 2 peaks while we're here. We're going to be spend the night at Lake Morena. This morning, we're going to take a drive out toward Lawson Peak. It's a hike of about 4.5 miles and about 1,500 feet of elevation gain. But what makes this hike interesting is the last couple hundred feet toward the top. There's some interesting rock formations, and an interesting cave, and a little rope ascent toward the end that makes this thing worth its while to come out here. And then tomorrow we're going to be taking another hike out to Corte Madera Peak, which is in sort of the same general area. There's 2 mountain peaks I've never been to before. and hopefully the weather will cooperate. There's a storm moving in tonight. There's a pretty good chance of rain tomorrow and even snow at the lower elevations, and so we could get a little bit of snow. All right, well, we're not too far from the Lawson Peak trailhead. We're, according to the GPS, we're only about 4 minutes away.
Mile, turn left onto Lyons Valley Road.
Yeah, there we go. Lyons Valley Road. We're going to be making a left here, and we can see a couple of peaks off to our right and left. One of them has got a lot of repeaters on it. I think that's Lyons Peak. We already passed Otay Mountain, which is where the main repeater.
Take the next left onto Lyons Valley Road.
Again, it looks like this is kind of a farm area. We're going to be making a left. I was a little nervous. We were going down Skyline Peak truck trail. And I've never seen a truck trail that was actually paved, but this one happened to be.
Continue on Lyons Valley Road for 3/4 of a mile.
Weather's holding up great. It's 56 degrees here at the trailhead. It's nice and clear. Behind us, to the south and west, over toward the ocean, there's a little bit of a marine layer. And so we're definitely going to get some clouds later tonight. There's even actually a slight chance of rain tonight as well. Hopefully you won't see any of that. It looks like it's going to be nice and clear. We noticed looking a little bit to the north, it was a little hazier, so hopefully that'll clear up, and we'll get some good views from the top of Lawson Peak. All right, well, according to the GPS, and we'll be at the trailhead in a 1/4 mile. Oh, looks like we got a little bit of a view here along the canyon. There's a car parked over there. According to the GPS, I got just a little ways to go. We're going to have to start looking for a parking area, I would think I would see. There's the cars. So this is the trailhead right here for Lawson Peak. There's quite a few cars here, actually. I'm kind of surprised. And there's the fire road that goes up to the top.
Your destination is on the left.
And there's nowhere to park. Well, I'm going to have to do a loop around, I guess, and find another spot. Or I can park down here somewhere. Maybe I can, oh, this car's parked down here. Maybe I'll just keep going and I'll park over here somewhere, and we'll just have to hump it up the road. Park down here, I guess. Really nowhere else, huh?
Yeah. Corvette and whatever.
Alright, so that's the road we're going to be on right there. Here we parked just up the road on a dirt shoulder as a line of cars screamed past, narrowly missing my open driver door. I quickly ran around to the passenger side of the Jeep as another caravan of fast cars roared by. This open stretch of scenic countryside must have been popular with the local car clubs, and we had to keep an eye on oncoming traffic so as not to end up as roadkill like this poor little bunny did. Dave and I started up the rocky and steep fire road around a heavy iron gate and the start of our adventure up to Lawson Peak. All right, well, welcome back to another edition of the Journal. Today we're going to be taking a trip up to the top, up this, what looks like a fire road here. It's the top of Lawson Peak. It's not that far of a hike. It's about 4.5 miles or so with about a 1,500 feet of elevation gain. But what makes this hike interesting is the rock scramble at the top. So we've got some pretty good views here. It's crystal clear, and there's quite a few cars at the trailhead. There's no official sign here anywhere. There is, looks like a forest marker up here past this gate. There's nothing on the road. So anyway, stick around. You're going to follow me and Dave as we head up the trail to the top of Lawson Peak here in the Cleveland National Forest. Well, this looks like this is the start of the trail to Lawson Peak. We've got to go around this heavy iron gate. Looks like they got it locked. There's a sign up here. It says, what's it say, Dave? It says, dead end, private property, locked gate ahead, no turnaround. U.S. Forest Service. But anyway, but we know that's where we're going. That's where everybody else went. Straight up the mountain to Lawson. Well, we've hiked just a short distance up the trail, and we can hear gunfire off in the distance. So we're assuming there's a rifle range out there, a gun range of some sort out there. Looks like a legitimate spot for one. There's the vehicles parked down below, and we weren't able to park right near the trailhead, which is down at the bottom of the little fire road with all the rocks in it right in front of us. And we've already climbed up, I don't know, 100 feet or something just in the first, not even a 1/4 mile. So, and we can see what we've got ahead of us. We can see the cut in the trail up there. It looks like pretty much a fire road walk for the most part, at least until we get up to that area right there. And I'm not 100% sure. That could very well be Lawson right there. Yeah, well, this first section is pretty steep actually. I'm a little winded already. And we've got some pretty tremendous views back behind us out here toward the valley and that gun range that's going off right now in the distance. It's a nice cool breeze. There's quite a few hikers here. A couple of passed us coming down. They said it was nice on top. So we're looking forward to that. Meantime, we just got to catch our breath and continue up this, I guess it was a fire road at one time. It's got huge boulders in the middle of it. There's no way you could drive this now. And of course, there's lock gate. So anyway, continuing up to the top of Lawson Peak. All right, well, we're taking a little quick breather here to catch our breath, enjoy some of this cool air. And you can see what we've done so far. The road is down there. You can see the pavement. There is one hiker coming up behind us, but he's way down there. You can see the fire road that we've been going up. And we've still got quite a ways to go. Lawson is on the other side. You can barely see the top of it poking out there. As we began to climb up the fire road, a large peak was visible to our right above a cut in the hillside. As it turns out, this was Gaskill Peak. Quite a few more fit hikers combine this hike up Gaskill with the ascent up Lawson. It requires some tough off-route bushwhacking, according to some of the trip reports I had read, and it just wasn't in the cards for Dave and me today. As we reached the top of the grade of the fire road, we had a perfect close-up view of our target today, Lawson Peak. Well, we're still working our way up to the top of Lawson. Turns out this peak right here is actually Lawson. We thought originally that we were going to have to go down this way along that other peak. There's a fire road, it looks like, that goes to that. That's actually Gaskill over there. And this one right here is Lawson. So we just ran into a couple of people and they said, just when you get up toward the top, you go up a little rock scramble and then you'll work your way around to the right. And it looks like you're going downhill. And if it looks like you're going downhill, you're going the right way. Because you're going to drop down a little bit and then on your left, you're going to see the ropes, which is what we're looking for today. Up here on Lawson Peak, inland San Diego County. All right, well, we've come up to the top of this rise. Now we got a great shot of Lawson in front of us. And hopefully we'll see what is going to be our trail that goes to the right in that scramble. Oh wow, we got a view off the other side too. This is looking south. That might very well be Lion's Peak over there to the left. We're looking actually down into Mexico. As we're working our way around the corner here. So our fire road is going to continue to the right. All right, well, here's another view looking toward Mexico. And we're definitely looking down into Mexico. So we're only 10 miles from the border. So probably right over that peak is Mexico. We can see a water tank. Dave pointed that out. And here's Lawson right in front of us. So we got to work our way somewhere to the right and up into that boulder grouping.
See the peaks? Right by the...
Oh, there's people way on top. Yeah, I see that. We're at the very, very tip top.
Yeah.
That's where we're going. The trail dipped slightly and came to a flat spot, where the used trail toward the top of Lawson appeared to our left. There were no signs here. In fact, there were no signs anywhere today indicating where we were to go. We just followed the footprints straight up into the brushy boulders. All right, well, we've made the turn, and now we're starting to make the climb up toward the top of Lawson right there. We can see people right there scrambling around in the boulders as that blue-tailed jet flies right over the top. Hopefully we'll be able to find our route, I'm sure. Enough people have done it over the years. We should be able to navigate our way up. Looks pretty steep from this angle. Since there wasn't anybody ahead of us that we could see, Dave and I just kind of wandered around looking for the most likely avenue up to the top of Lawson Peak. All right, well, we've come to an interesting section here as we go through the Manzanita. Work our way around the boulders here. They said there's a little bit of a scramble. I can see that now. It says we're going to work our way to the right. Hopefully we're still going the right direction. Kind of hard to tell. Well, I'm not so sure this is the right way. Looks like we have to go on top of that boulder, but it doesn't look like a lot of people have been this way. All right, well, we've been scrambling up some pretty steep stuff.
Shit. Sorry.
But he says we're going to go up a little ways and make a right. It's a little tighter than we thought it'd be. All right, well, we're scrambling up. I don't know if we're exactly on the right section because this is a lot more work than we thought it was going to be. What's that?
I'm gonna check all trails. It looks like it might go.
Well, we're going to try it. It's pretty steep right here. All right, well, this is turning out to be quite the bushwhack here. I don't remember reading a lot about this part, but you can see footprints in a few places where there's dirt. That is not easy, that's for sure. Ooh, we're getting there. Going was tough, climbing up the large boulders and ducking under scraggly oak brush, but the hardest part was not having any idea on how to pick a safe route up to the top. Dave and I tried several routes that ended up in dead ends, but afforded some magnificent views, some with steep drops and precarious ledges. A rock climber's paradise, but nerve-wracking for Dave and I. One slip up here and you'd be a goner for sure. Well, we've been scrambling up for a ways. Come to this great big boulder. And there's according to all trails, it goes to the right. So there's a ledge here. And if it doesn't really go anywhere, at least we can go out here and see what's on the other side. If I can get through here with my pack on.
I'm gonna wait for you.
It's got a pretty tremendous view from up here. Oh, there's Barrett Lake over there. Come on up, Dave. Even if it's not the trail, at least it's a good view. Well, I don't know. Could be around this rock. There is a space.
Did you see these?
Well, oh yeah, a little bolt.
That's awesome. Well, we got a good view if nothing else.
Yeah,
And of course we can easily fall to our death.
yeah.
We'll look at all trails again.
See if this is actually part of the trail or just a nice spot to sit. All right, well, we're not sure if that was the route, so we're going to go back through this crevice here. As my pack scrapes, my pockets scrape both sides.
Okay. Oh, here.
It was a scenic spot, nonetheless.
It's just, oh my God. You gotta be kidding me.
Oh, look at that boulder. Retracing our steps, we heard some voices up ahead and moved toward the sound. Here, perched on a rock, about 50 feet up a steep rock scramble, two hikers were taking a break before starting down. Dave yelled up to them, "Is this the route up?" "Yep," one of them shouted down. Dave and I began the climb.
Will take you there. They're equally as difficult. At some point, it'll be tough here too.
Okay.
All right, well, we're going to be heading up this way, it looks like. Got to do some scrambling.
Take your time.
Once on top of this section, we were told the trail heads around to the right and drops slightly downhill.
Holy crap. Wait a minute here. Well, I think we could probably go around to the left.
All right, let's try.
Maybe.
All right, well, this is what we've got left. We've got to go up and to the right. And at some point, we're going to drop down and look for the rope in the slot. So that's what we got. We're getting there. A little harder than we thought, huh, Dave?
Yeah, I think we should have used it like a track too, but oh well, too late now.
Boy, are we huffing and puffing. It's Lake Barrett down there. They told us that if we get to this spot here, level out a little bit, and we start to go downhill to the right, to the south and west.
That's a freaking awesome shot.
And that's our view, looking toward the ocean. So we're going to be going down here and to the left, looking for that slot in the rope. And that's Gaskill over there. We were told by other hikers coming down, don't worry, that's the right way, and once you bottom out on that little dip, the trail climbs back up into the brush, and eventually you'll see the rope. All right, well, here's the rock crawl. Here's the rope section. We're going to have to work our way up that. Seeing the rope in person changed our whole perspective. Looks a lot taller in person, I told Dave. Here, Dave and I stood mesmerized, thinking to ourselves, people actually climb up this thing?
Okay.
All right, Dave, see what you're made of.
Well, I've never done it before, so.
And we did the Rings Trail in the Mojave Preserve. We've done Half Dome with the cables, so.
You put your foot in here, don't you? You just pull yourself up.
Yeah, you just pull yourself. The biggest part is that second rock up there, getting yourself up and over that.
That's the crux of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay. Okay, how sturdy is it? Okay.
It's probably a retired climbing rope that's outlived its usefulness. It's, it's already got its 10 falls, so it's not rated anymore.
Okay, yeah, you know what? This isn't easy. Okay. I don't want to be a big wussy, but here it goes. If this thing breaks, man, just a heads up, we're done. But
Oh, you are?
you can just imagine falling. You're going to knock your noggin, and that's it. So hopefully it holds. Yeah, I had to go first. Great. Okay, it looks like it's okay.
You can also try going around through here and just seeing the view on the other side.
Yeah, there's an easier route over here with an escalator. We're just not doing that one.
Okay, now you're right. This second one,
Yeah, how I did it is I put my legs up against the sides and pulled myself up.
okay.
Kind of stemmed on the way up or something?
Yeah.
Holy cow. All right. Shit it.
I think the group before us, I think they got to this far and they gave up.
Okay.
How's the view from down there?
Man.
Well, we're trying to figure this out because the other couple that came in behind us, he said this is the way to the top. And he didn't think his girlfriend was going to be up for it, so they went around this way to a viewpoint. And he said the people that were here before us, they also didn't do this. They went around. So we're going to try it. I mean, obviously people do it. The rope is here, and so Dave's going to try something a little different. I don't know how you're going to get your foot out of it, though, once you go to the next one. Not wanting to take any unnecessary chances, Dave and I decided to head over to a nearby ledge under a large boulder overhang with outstanding views to the south and west. Here we took a well-deserved break and ate lunch admiring the views. Fuck. That was close. Almost lost my beer. That would have been a horrible fate. Well, we made it almost to the top of Lawson. We're not quite all the way up. I mean, it's like literally right here. That section with the rock, the little slot with the boulders and the rope, that's out of my league. And I'm drinking a Belching Beavers No Worries West Coast IPA today. I dropped it a little bit and it rolled around, so we'll see if it fizzes. Oh, a little bit. Oh, it's still going. As I'm getting a wedgie here on the rock. Well, that was quite the climb. That was pretty tough. It's a little harder than we thought it was going to be. You know, we looked at the website and I looked at the pictures from everybody else, all the old people up here climbing. I honestly don't know how the hell they made it. But went to Barron's yesterday and I got me a chicken Caesar wrap. It just sounded good today. We got tremendous views down below me here. I guess this would be looks like north and west. So the ocean's out that way. That's a pretty heavy marine layer, so you really can't see it. Oh, you can see it over that way. Yeah, you can. I think that's it over there, out that way. But it's a gorgeous, clear day. It's supposed to rain maybe tonight or tomorrow. But at least up here, it's a great spot for lunch, right below Lawson Peak. While we enjoyed our lunch stop and I my ice-cold beer, we heard excited voices yelling from inside the cave. Even though we were only 30 feet from them, we couldn't see the excitement on their faces after they had scaled the rope. And while it was a little disheartening that we didn't make the climb up the rope, we were relieved that we didn't have to face the dangerous climb down the rope either. Now Dave's sitting on the edge of the ledge. Well, we got a great view out here. All the jets that are flying, I guess, east and south. Heading toward Tucson, maybe toward Texas, who knows. Gulf Coast, Florida. We got great views up here from this phenomenal rock right here on the edge of Lawson Peak. Turned out to be an absolutely gorgeous day. You know, a few clouds off in the distance and nothing here. Temperature-wise, it's perfect. At least on this spot right here, there's hardly any wind at all. So we're going to take a half hour up here, enjoy our view and our lunch, and start working our way down. After our break, the scramble back down Lawson Peak went remarkably quick, and within no time, we were back at the Jeep. Well, we're working our way down from Lawson Peak, or as far as we can tell, really close to Lawson Peak. And way down there along, you see the fire road, which is where we came up. All the way down there in the bottom is the Jeep. Just that red car just passed it. So that's what we got. And you know, we were a little bummed, well, kind of a lot bummed that we didn't make the top. I mean, there were other hikers that came up after us, 4 or 5, and they were able to shimmy up that rope like spider monkeys, and they made it. And we could hear them hooting and hollering, "Oh, what a great view!" And it's like it kind of hurt our feelings a little bit, but you know, we're not 22 like they are. We're 62, and how they got up that rope was they turned sideways and they basically stemmed, if you know what stemming is. Put their feet on one wall and their butt against the other wall, and they kind of walked themselves up above the rope to where they could grab onto that top ledge and flip over. Dave couldn't do it. I tried a little bit, but my pack was just too big. I have too much stuff in it, and I couldn't even really turn sideways. And the whole time I kept feeling my watch was scratching the granite on the side, and my other watch was scratching, and I had my camera in my hand, and I don't want to scratch the lens on my camera. And then even if you get up there, I know the views are outstanding, and I'll post some pictures of some other people that were fortunate enough to make it up to the top, and you can see what a great view that is. But today it wasn't me and Dave's day. Maybe this is a hike for, you know, a younger crowd, maybe more fit crowd, who knows. I started thinking, if I would have had a climbing rope, one of us could have shimmied up without the pack on, thrown the rope down. And Dave had a great idea. Why don't somebody bring in a little extension ladder? All you'd need is like a 5-6 foot rung ladder. That's it. It's a little aluminum one. And you could have propped it up like some of those other trails, like Ladder Canyon and Mecca. And you could have just climbed right up onto that top ledge. So that's something to consider for some young athletic person that wants to do us all a solid, They could come out here and wouldn't weigh that much, strap it to your pack, put it right there in that spot. I have a feeling that when we're going to go back, we're going to go look at the pictures. And I have a feeling that a boulder or two had shifted, because there's no way those old people that I've seen in the videos could have made it up. Something must have fallen and rearranged itself. I don't know. So anyway, I guess we'll go back and look. But we're not too far from the car. I'll probably be back in less than an hour. We're going to head over to Lake Morena and get our camp set up for the night. I'm looking forward to that. The drive out along Lions Valley Road was lonely but scenic. Well, we didn't quite make the top of Lawson, but we got mighty close. We got all the way to the very, very end, and we just didn't quite muscle up the ropes. So that was kind of a letdown, but we did make it to a great viewpoint, and we were within 50 feet of the top of Lawson. So maybe another try, another time, maybe we'll see. In the meantime, we got to head over to Lake Morena Campground, and there's not a whole lot of different ways to get there from here, so we're going to continue on this road that we've been on. And I don't even know what it's called. What is it, Skyline Trail or something?
I think it's still the 94.
Is it?
I think so.
Oh, maybe the 94, we don't know. So anyway, we're going to continue this way. Hopefully it runs into the 8, and then we have to head due east. It said it was about 35 minutes, and believe it or not, there's a ton of traffic heading east on Saturday. I wouldn't think there would be, but it sounds like there is. So in the meantime, we're going to enjoy this nice little scenic drive through what looks like might have been a burn zone at one point. And we're going to work our way over to the east to Lake Morena Campground and see if we can check in early and check out our campground. Anyway, I'll check back with you in a few minutes. Once we turned right onto Hapodal Valley Road, Dave spotted an interesting landmark nestled among the boulders above a ranch off the highway.
Too funny.
All right, we just made the turn off that road to Hapodal Valley, and Alpine. We came across the Hollywood sign in the middle of nowhere. That was pretty cool. According to Google Maps, Interstate 8 was jam-packed with traffic. Unusual for a Saturday afternoon. It was due to Caltrans construction and lane closures. Luckily, just as we pulled onto the on-ramp, I happened to enter just in front of a big rig moving slowly in the only available lane, with a long, long line of cars trailing behind it.
Yep.
Campo, Lake Morena, next exit. Coral Canyon, off-highway vehicle area. That's where we're going to be headed. Looks like some people are meeting up over there with their quads. Quite a few of them. As we're heading east on Interstate 8, coming up on Buckman Springs Road. Is this where we're getting off, Dave?
Yeah, I think.
Getting off at Buckman Springs.
Yeah.
There's a rest area on the left. I've actually taken a dump there once. Years ago. So let's see what the sign says at the bottom of the hill here. Well, we exited off Interstate 8 on Buckman Springs Road, and we're heading down toward Lake Morena, so we should be there pretty soon. A few minutes. It's 57 degrees, and it's a little after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Check-in time's at 4, so we're a little early, but I don't think they'll care. By the time we get there, it'll be 3:30, so we should be fine. If not, we can just cruise around the campground, check out the lake or what's left of the lake, and get set up for the night. Oh, here's the booth.
It's closed. Okay.
We finally pulled into the Lake Morena Campground, and Dave went inside the ranger station to pick up our cabin key for cabin number 6. Since bringing in your own firewood was prohibited, we picked up a couple of bundles of their firewood and tossed it into the Jeep. The campground was scenic and green due to the recent rains. Very few campers occupied the sites here, most likely due to the remoteness of the location and the fact that it was late January. I parked the Jeep along a set of wooden posts and began hauling my gear up a dirt slope toward the cabin. Here we would be for the night. Well, this fire has just taken absolutely forever to get going and stay lit. It must be bad firewood. You know, we weren't allowed to bring our own firewood in from outside. We had to use fire that was available at the ranger station. And even though it looked pretty good and it was wrapped nice, it took forever to light and it's barely lit. So we basically got tired of it and we just put in a Presto log, a Duraframe log, which you're not really supposed to cook over, but we needed some help, so that's what we did. So everything's cooking now. Actually, it was mostly cooked before this, so we'll check the bacon wrapped jalapenos in the bacon, and then I've got my chips over there, my steak fries over in the Dutch oven. Well, we're sitting here around the campfire, and we just couldn't get the firewood to burn. You know, the stuff we bought at the ranger station it wouldn't light. Luckily, I brought the old Presto log, the Duraflame log, and we were able to get whatever firewood we had lit. Burned through a whole bundle, and it's just not even light. You can put your hand 6 inches from the top, and there's no heat of that Presto log. But anyway, we ended up making hamburgers, and I did some French fries in the Dutch oven, they came out warm and hot, but they weren't crunchy like I was hoping. And I put them in a bowl, set them aside, and now I've got the Julian Dutch apple pie in the Dutch oven. I've just got it down at the bottom of the fire here, just trying to warm it up. It's already cooked, so I don't have to cook it. I just have to heat it up a little bit. So we'll have that for dessert. And then we'll just kind of chill. We do have a heater inside our cabin, which is kind of nice, a propane heater. We haven't tried that yet. The ranger came by earlier and said it was going to get down into the upper 20s tonight, which I'm not really positive that's going to happen. It says 35, 36 or something on the radar stuff, so on the Weather Channel and through NOAA. So we're not real sure, but anyway, I got a mess to clean up. I tell you, man, this cooking stuff, it makes a mess. And I got a lot of stuff sitting on the table, so after this Julian pie is done, I'm going to be cleaning for a while, it looks like. And there's some there's like 10 cabins here, and there's nobody in the cabin next to us. And the ranger said this was going to be a late check-in, so maybe 11 o'clock or something they'll roll in, who knows. But we had a pretty good day today. It wasn't, the climb up to Lawson was a little harder than we thought it was going to be, and we were really bummed we didn't make the very tip-top of that, but we still had some outstanding views and a crystal clear day. And tomorrow there's a chance of rain, and there might even be a chance of snow. So in the morning, I'm not going to bother with a fire again. That's just too much work. I did bring my Coleman 2-burner stove, so with a propane bottle. So I'm just going to do the breakfast burritos. I'll just cook them on the picnic table in the propane stove, and we should be good. And then by the time we get everything, packed up, and we'll head over to Corte Madera Peak, and we'll start the hike. It's a little longer hike tomorrow than what we did today, but hopefully it's easier and more straightforward, and we don't have to spend all that time going around and around the bushes and the manzanita and getting all scratched up and cut up, and hopefully it'll be a little better hike tomorrow. So I heard the views are good, so that's good. So it's only about 30 minutes from here. So once we get packed up and get in the car, hike should take about 5 hours or so, and then we should be heading home. So anyway, I'll check that pie here in a minute, see if it's hot. Well, let's take a peek here. Of course, the smoke is blowing right in my face. Let's see if I can do this. Lid lifter doesn't really work with this Dutch oven. I'm trying to do this without. And there's the pie. There's our cozy little cabin. Pretty nice. Nice having the porch light and the interior light as well, as long as the mosquitoes don't come around. I don't think there's going to be any. We're in cabin 6 today at Lake Morena. It's kind of nice. Well, that'll do it for this first part of our inland San Diego adventure, our hike up Lawson Peak, and our night out at the Lake Morena cabin. In the next edition, Dave and I wake up in the middle of the night to the pitter-patter of rain coming off our cabin and cook up a big breakfast on my old Coleman stove. Later on after breakfast, we head out into the rain, sleet, and icy cold winds to climb to the summit of Corte Madera Peak. That'll all be coming up in the next edition of the Hiking Journal. If you have any questions or comments about this or any other edition of the Hiking Journal, leave a comment below. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and tap that notification bell to get the latest editions as I post them. Oh, and one last thing. Well, I did it. I entered the lottery for Mount Whitney. Now all I gotta do is wait for that magical day in mid-March where the National Forest Service pulls the applications out of the hat. There's only a 23% chance of success to draw an overnight permit for Mount Whitney, so we've got our fingers crossed that we'll hit the jackpot. Anyway, take care and I'll see you down the trail. Bye-bye.